Assalamu alaikum everyone. I hope all of you are doing well. So in this video, I will be discussing about John Dryden and his literary criticism. So let's start. So Dryden was born in the village of Aldwinkle, Northamptonshire in 1631. His family were prosperous people who brought him up in the strict Puritan faith and sent him first to the famous Westminster School and then to Cambridge. He made excellent use of his opportunities and studied eagerly, becoming one of the best educated men of his age, especially in classics. He was going to become the poet of Puritanism when the Restoration brought about a change in him. He had come to London for a literary life, and when the Royalists were again in power, he placed himself promptly on the winning side. He wrote a poem to welcome Charles II, and was made the poet laureate and royal historiographer in 1670s. He became the best known literary man of the London and was almost as much a dictator to the literary set which gathered in the taverns and coffee houses as Ben Jonson had been before him. His works was rewarded by largely financial return and by his being appointed collector of the port of London. His major work include Essay on the Dramatic Poesy. Dr. Johnson says Dryden may be properly considered as the father of English criticism, as a writer who first taught us to determine upon principles the merits of composition. Dryden wrote this essay as a dramatic dialogues with the four characters representing four critical issues. Charles Sackville, Eugenius, favor the modern over the ancient, while Sir Robert Howard as a critic argues in the favor of the ancient, while Sir Charles Sidney Lycidius argues French drama is superior to English drama, and John Dryden as a native favors modern English plays. In this way, he develops historical criticism, comparative and descriptive form of critic, and finally give his own independent views through the replies of neither as a critic. Dryden includes 5 issues in this essay. The first issue is ancient versus modern. The second one is unities. The third one is French versus English drama. The fourth one is separation of tragedy and comedy versus tragedy or tragic comedy. The fifth issue is appropriateness of rhyme in drama. So let's start with the critic's viewpoints on ancient. He argues that the superiority of ancient is established by the fact that moderns simply imitate them and have built on the foundation allied by them. The second point by the critics is that the ancients are the established models of the modern. The third point is that ancients are better because they have no models which they could follow in giving contribution to literature. In short, modern stands on the shoulders of ancient. The fourth point is that it should be remembered that every age has its own genius, its own inclination for a particular branch of knowledge. The ancients had a special genius for drama, and in their particular branch of poetry, epic, they reached perfection and excelled in it just like drama. So the fifth point is that ancient poetry was more honored than any branch of knowledge. In ancient poets were rewarded according to their merits. Nowadays, moderns are neither suitably honored nor rewarded. The sixth viewpoint is that the rules of dramatic composition are not followed by modern dramatists, whereas ancient followed all the rules. The seventh point is that the ancient drama is superior because the ancient closely observed nature and faithfully represented in their work, whereas modern do not observe and study nature carefully. The last point is that ancient follow the rules of unities. Ancient have one plot, whereas the modern plays does not follow the unities because there are number of actions and subplot in the play. For example, Hamlet and Dr. Faustus. The ancient organize their play well. We are unable to appreciate the art and beauty of their language only because of many custom tradition are not known to us. For example, Ben Jonson, he was considered as superior to the moderns in all things. So Eugenius' views on moderns are that he favors the modern over the ancient and replies the critics that the modernists have learned much from ancient. The modern have not followed the ancient blindly, rather they have written new things in many ways. So according to Eugenius' views, he gives some defeats of the ancient and some triumph of the modern. In ancient plays, there was not any division of the plays into acts. The modern have preferred this division and divided their plays into acts, but not only just in acts but also into scenes. But Greeks wrote without any definite pattern or plan, and when they could write a good play, their success was more a matter of chance and good fortune than of ability. The second point is that the plot of the ancient lacked originality. The player vanished, which was to cause delight, was destroyed. The plot of the comedy also lacked originality in the ancient. The third point is that in characterization, they no doubt imitate nature, but their imitation is only narrow and partial, as if they imitate only an eyes or hands and did not dare to portray the lines of a face or the proportion of the body. The fourth point is that even their observance of three unities is not perfect. The ancient Horace and Aristotle did not mention of the unity of place. Terence was one of the most regular of the ancient dramatists, but even he did not observe the unity of the time faithfully. So the fifth point is that there is a lot of narration at the cost of action. Their play become monotonous and tiresome because instead of providing the necessary information, they inform audience through dialogues and monologues. The sixth point is that the ancient plays do not perform one of the function of drama, that is of giving delight and giving instruction. There is no poetic injustice in their play. Instead of punishing vice and rewarding virtue, they have shown a prosperous wickedness and an unhappy piety. The seventh point is that finally their themes are equally defective. The proper end of the tragedy is to arouse admiration and concernment. Their themes are lust, murder, cruelty, bloodshed, which of arousing admiration and pity. Arouse horror and terror, horror and terror, so the ancients are inferior to much modern as Shakespeare and Fletcher. The ancient in their comedies no doubt introduce a few scenes of tenderness, but then their lovers talk very little. So they decided that the moderns were more perfect because they have altered the mode of writing as well. So another point of view is that French versus English drama. Dryden refused to be impressed by French drama and Critic. He declared that the literature develops with the development of nation. French dramatists follow rules strictly and banish many artistic beauties from the stage. The second point is that Dryden disapproved the rigid separation of tragic and comic elements. He sees no reason why tragic comedy should be forbidden because it mingles myth with serious plot. English practice of mingling those elements provide a better way of comic relief. So the third point is that Dryden does not admire the exclusion of the subplot and minor episode from the French play. So the fourth point is that French dramas fell short in employing too little action and scenes of violence. Dryden defends irregularities of the English drama in general. The last point is that Dryden appreciates English dramatists and poets. He appreciates Shakespeare, Fletcher, Johnson, Milton and Chaucer. He says Shakespeare had the largest and the most comprehensive soul, while Ben Jonson was the most learned and judicious writer which the theatre ever had. So the superiority of French drama is that French observe unities to perfection, unity of time, action not exceeds from 30 hours, and the second point, unity, is that unity of place. All the actions stick to the place where it began. They do not burden their plot with underplot because it diverts the attention of audience and readers. Nothing so absurd than English tragedy and comedy according to French drama. They said that nothing is so absurd than English tragedy and comedy. Plot of their tragedies are based on some history, but they mix facts with fiction so well. There is no multiplicity of action and incident in their play because no enough time to represent one passion fully instead of being one to another. One character is dominated over another. Narration or relations much more skillfully than in English. No sudden change or conversion in their play. They use of rhyme to beautify a play. So that's why French drama is more superior, because of their characterization, because of their mingling of elements of tragedy and comedy, because of their following the unity of time, while English does not follow such kind of things. So superiority of English over the French. Previously we talked about superiority of French over English. Now we talk about superiority of English over French. French plays are more regular while English plays are irregular. They lack rich variety of humor. Some French dramatists started mingling tragedy and comedy in the manner of English. They try to imitate it. They lack variety of plot. English plot are copious and varied. French are barren and narrow. Long speeches in French, not in English. That is present in French but not present in English. The more the character, the greater will be the variety. For example, Ben Jonson. So we studied about the 4 point of views: ancient versus modern, modern versus ancient, how they use, and the superiority of French over the English and English over the French, and their point of views, how John Dryden talks about different point of views while using different character names and their dialogues. So that's all from my side. If you have any queries, you can ask me in the comment section. Please like, subscribe and share my channel. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.